So the newest structure deck from the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game, the Emperor of Darkness, has been heavily talked about since its release. It's been called the best structure deck Konami has ever made by some people, but is there warrant to these claims? Let's find out. With this deck, you will receive a 41 card deck, a playmat which on the backside has guidelines on how to improve the deck and card suggestions, and a rulebook which explains the basic rules of the game. Now let's check out the cards that come with this deck. I'm a real fan of the inclusion of not one, but 5 foil cards. With 2 ultra rares and 3 super rares, you're really getting a nice amount of rare cards from this deck, and that's not even talking about the common reprints of some older rare cards. This deck contains some very interesting cards. Cards like Mathematician, Soul Charge, as well as an entire set of the original basic Monarchs are very sought after cards. They actually do contain some pretty decent value with this deck, and while it doesn't contain any of the Mega Monarchs, it does contain 2 new Monarchs as well as a cycle of vassal monsters that correlate to each Monarch as a sort of smaller version. This enhances the Monarch archetype as a whole by giving them some support in the form of monsters, because all of them require tribute monsters in order to summon them, in order to activate their abilities, so it's really nice that they've included a series of monsters specifically designed just for the Monarchs as their tribute fodder. The deck also contains a good selection of Monarch support spells and traps, which make this deck a very good jumping off point for a Monarch enthusiast to build a pretty decent Monarch deck. I've always been an advocate for beginning players and even experienced players interested in building a new deck to purchase 3 copies of a given structure deck and then assembling a deck based on the play sets of cards that you obtain through getting the 3 copies. It's safe to say that with this product, when building a deck from 3 copies, it has perhaps the most potential of any structure deck ever released by Konami. Now, one of the best ways to make this deck even better from just going from the 3 structure decks that you will buy is to take staples from your own collection and add them to the deck. Cards like Solemn Warning, Pot of Duality, Upstart Goblin, and Raigeki are all really good starting points to add to this deck. Obviously, there's a lot of cards that have special summon abilities that you will want to include, since a lot of these monsters require tribute summons. The more special summons that you can perform, the more tribute summons you can perform, and the more Monarchs can hit the field. The guide that's included with the deck even suggests cards such as Speedroy Terrortop, Speedroy Tekattenberg, Jurigato, cards that will allow you to special summon monsters really quickly, and then you can tribute them later for Monarchs to come into the field. They're all really good suggestions for this deck, and quite frankly, this has the potential to become a very strong contender. Nowadays, Pendulum and XYZ monsters dominate the meta of Yu-Gi-Oh! But with some skill and effort, this deck has some serious potential to become a fun retro-style deck that will make your opponents bow before the Emperor. I hope this video has been some help to you in deciding whether or not you want to buy this structure deck. If you want to help me out, feel free to share this video with your friends. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this one.